Okay, go for it. Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody here today out to May 11th, 2023 regular board meeting agenda at 8885 West, 3500 South to the general office building. Today on the diocese we have is Clint Dilly, Nathan Bracken, Dallas Henline, Jeff White, Mick Sudbury, Danny Stewart, Leal Fitzgerald, Andrew Slumpson, Raymond Mondragon, and Trevor Andre. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Will you all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So I would like to welcome public guests and the mayor. Anybody here today have any public comments they want to address the board? Okay. Does anybody have a conflict of interest with anything on the agenda today? Okay, see none, we'll move on to approve common consent items.
The minutes of the regular special board meeting held April 11th, 2023. Minutes of the regular board meeting held April 20th, 2023. Expenses for April 10th to April 30th of 2023. General expenses $846,027.49.
All in favor?
No, I'll second it.
Let me second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to our big one, our employees. Clint, I'm gonna take
Yeah,
that.
I'll pass the time over to Andrew and Dallas. We're gonna highlight some great things happening in the wastewater world.
Yeah, so we had an awesome opportunity it was a couple weeks ago, where we went down to WAU and some of our operators were able to be recognized. Dallas can talk a little bit about what these are.
So the annual WEAU awards, Tiffany from Snyderville Basin is here and she was over the awards committee. So our wastewater department had outstanding operator of the year under 5 MGD in Scott Beck. And then also our wastewater collections department was nominated and won for collections department under 5 MGD. So we've got a plaque today and I've asked Tiffany, who was over the awards committee, to come and present the plaque in front of the board to recognize you guys and your accomplishments, and just so the board and the management team can recognize you guys and let you know how much we appreciate your hard work and how much everything you guys do every day really reflects what we're trying to do as a district, and we really appreciate it.
Let's give them a round of
May I say something?
Oh, yes.
So, WEAU is Water Environment Association of Utah, and every year we get to honor people around our state, and so I just wanted to acknowledge Scott Beck. The folks that have awarded it to him have said that Scott has worked to rewrite plant operations and maintenance manuals, as well as adding training and troubleshooting guides for critical equipment. He's played a large role in training new operators and taken on additional roles with Magna's in-house laboratory. So just would like to present Scott.
Andrew.
Andy, do you want to take a picture? Hey, can we get a picture with you guys?
Yes.
I think
And if
maybe
somebody
Have a good background.
pull this one over. I think the lighting might be better over here. Did any of the board want to get in the picture with, maybe one with the board? And Dallas? Sure. Highlighting.
Congratulations, Scott.
Yep.
So this one is for outstanding collection system under 5 MGD. And the folks that awarded this to them said Magna Water had amazing records, especially where they could overlay their yearly results and show constant improvements in their collections maintenance. The professionalism displayed was easily displayed. They had even cleaned and polished their collections vehicles and put them on display. Speaking with their operators and having them show off their equipment along with their amazing records, it shows really how lucky Magna Water District is to have such dedicated employees and a proactive program.
Get one with the collections group?
Come on up, guys.
Where are we gonna put the plaques?
Can we do one with them and then one with you?
Where are we gonna put, we gotta figure out where we're gonna put the plaques.
Yeah,
We've got other awards that we want on the wall.
yeah, the beard.
That's right.
A nice beard. All different, all colors of the rainbow represented in those beards.
Get one with the board as well, guys.
We need someone to stripe yours pink for the, or purple for the rainbow.
We can't fit in.
We might need to pull you guys forward a little and
Yeah.
two-dimensional or three-dimensional photo.
Or can sit on chairs.
Yeah, do we want to put the board on some chairs to fit everybody, or?
No.
That looks good.
Smile.
I just, before you leave, gentlemen, not an easy job. None of the work that you guys do is easy, and sometimes you get a little dirty. So, you know, you come in, I see good attitudes from every one of you. I really can't say how much it's appreciated that you guys come in, do some hard work sometimes, go above and beyond. I think you've got a great team lead, and I'm really pleased with Dallas and the operations manager. For context, how many collection systems do you think we have in the state? I mean, I know we have several, over 1,000 water systems, Marie.
Yeah, let's say 10 to 15. I really have no idea, but there are treatment plants throughout, and I mean, just in the Salt Lake Valley, you probably have 10 or 12.
Collection systems.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's probably 500 wastewater systems
500
and
wastewater.
there's 1,200 or so drinking water systems.
so I mean, two systems in the state of however many that is. We got the under 5 MGD and there's an over 5 MGD. To be recognized amongst that group, now obviously all of them didn't put in for it, but I think you have to get to a level to where you can even put in. And that's a testament to these guys. Same thing with the wastewater operator. There were 2 wastewater operators acknowledged this year out of the state, right, for WEAU. And I think sometimes you lose context. Sometimes people think these awards are handed out like candy, but they're really not.
No.
It says something, and it's really meaningful, and we appreciate it. So, thanks, you guys.
It's really an honor to win that.
It is an honor.
Clint's buying hot dogs at noon.
Yeah, thank Don.
Yeah.
One other thing is to
Hey.
point out that this collections department also just received the Smart City Award as well. I don't know if Dallas wants to tell you what that
What is
was.
that? I don't,
So that's in the packet. There should be a photo of it.
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize.
That's okay.
is it in there? I don't remember seeing.
We can talk about it at that point if you'd like.
Yeah, maybe that would give me a chance to find it.
Okay.
I don't know where it's at.
Huh? Dallas, I don't know. Did I miss it?
No, we don't
I remember
have,
seeing it.
I don't have it.
Okay. Well, there was an award given to the city by one of our There's a company that we use for some of our equipment and instrumentation. They work for a lot of districts throughout the state. They're called RH Borden, and they've awarded the district with the 2023 Smart City Award. And the emphasis behind the award is leveraging technology to make database decisions. So some of the things they talked about specifically were the SLRAP, the Sewer Line Rapid Assessment Testing equipment that we use, along with some of the prototype flow measurement devices that we've been guinea pigging as part of some of our influent project design. So, awesome.
Good job.
Awesome.
Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to item H, department report. Let's start with Clint.
Okay, you've got my report in there. I'll just highlight a couple of things. The first one is that the secondary water system, the canal is now fully operational, sending water. So, we're up and running. We were able to fill it early and run for about a week and a half, 2 weeks without the canal, because we got help from Mother Nature. It wasn't too bad on the water. Obviously, when we get reuse, we won't be reliant on that canal.
That'd be great.
It'll be awesome. So that's up and going. However, Zone 3 pump station to fill Zone 3 is up and running.
Yep, everything.
And we're sending water into Zone 3, correct?
Secondary?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay, we're still
No. There's,
working out a few of
yeah,
the startup issues.
communication through the SCADA. It's kind of the last bit.
Oh, that pet tower piece, that's right.
Towers, yep, that's the last
But
thing
we're gonna
on
go
there.
tour that. It's operational, but it's not put into the system yet. On the wastewater side, I wanted to highlight that the wastewater operations manager and district engineer continue working with Northrop Grumman on the local limits study. We're still looking into how the results of that study will impact the district. But what we do know is we'll be in better position to face any challenges that come up to our system from industrial users that want to connect or that are already connected. Our standards will have a lot more basis behind them on the completion of that. So we'll be able to defend any nutrient limits, any of those criteria, pollutants. So we're excited about getting that completed.
Would they be required to add any additional equipment on their?
Potentially, we don't know how that'll come out.
Because I've noticed some of the other cities are requiring, like Interstate Brick had to put something in.
Internal pre-treatment
Yeah,
prior to discharge.
is that possible that?
Ours are pretty stringent right now. So I don't imagine that they'll come out, but we don't know until we complete.
How long before we'll know?
You guys have an update on schedule?
It's still good
No, it's gonna be
It'll be
probably a
this year.
6-month process,
Yeah,
maybe even
this year.
most of the-
this year.
maybe early next year for a final.
Okay.
Lee Isle's gonna talk about specific items on the agenda for the office and improvements that she's been working on. But I'll just highlight that we do have the bulletproof glass. The transaction windows are coming tomorrow. I'm gonna meet them tomorrow, and they're gonna get those installed for the upfront, so we'll have that security.
Joe's looking at us like, what?
Was able to meet with the town council, just to there's been some confusion over the governor and the legislature's announcement for additional funding for the Flip Your Strip Water Savers Program. It's gone under different names. The legislature has put another pot of money,
Right.
and they've made some more stringent criteria to qualify, and one of those is that the communities in which the people are putting in for have adopted landscape standards, water efficiency standards. The township has adopted those. They're just waiting on some final attorney cleanup.
So, yeah,
They're checking to make sure that under Title 18 and 19, that it covers new homes too, that the restrictions. Once that's done, then they'll sign off.
So once that's done, they'll sign off on it and send it over to the water savers, and then our customers that call in can be eligible.
Qualify.
Yeah.
so my firm made those edits.
Okay.
They're done.
Oh,
So all of the metros, basically what they did is they approved these recodified land use ordinances subject to a final line by line formatting, non-substantive review, which has been completed. The MSD staff are making it. Once that's done, then a summary of the ordinance will be posted, and that will have it go into effect.
Okay.
And then last night at Jordan Valley Water meeting, they were talking about the drought. So they were asking the board members what direction we wanted to see go, and yet a few of the board members that's really confused. We don't want to send something out there and say that we're really in a drought when we have water. What we're asking is if they'll cut back 10%. There are some areas that are in droughts, but right now the reservoirs are filling. And so we went back and forth, debated on that for about 45 minutes last night, on which way it's hard to say we're in a drought when we've had a great winter, but yet we want to be able to conserve water too, so we have water. So that's an update there.
Great. The only thing else I thought we'd highlight here is that we did have a few calls on the secondary water startup rate, confusion over that. And we seem to run into that with the canal company. When we first talked to them on mid-April, they said May 1st, and then they pushed it back. So
The 15th, right?
They pushed it back to what?
well, they said the 15th, but then it ended up being,
May 1st, and then May 1st came, then they want to kick it back to May 15th, but they had some work they had to get done on some of the head gates, and they actually completed them, so that we got it on last Friday. They turned it on this last Friday. So
But we were able to get our system up and
our
going.
system was up and running and everything, but,
Nice.
so,
our messaging was, hey, we're up and going. Just don't go crazy with it
be a little
because,
bit conservative.
because our main source. So, we're gonna be in a better position, like we said, with the reuse. We won't have those issues. We may even choose to wanna start up. There will be some benefit to us to reuse water, at our wastewater plant, even when it's not irrigation.
Once the
season
reuse gets up and running though, I doubt we'll have people on the canal water.
as much, yep. And that will benefit the Great Salt Lake, obviously the concerns.
Yeah.
The Great Salt Lake there, so. Unless there's anything else from my report.
I'm good on that. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, let's move on down. Let's go to the engineer report.
So in the packet is kind of a summary sheet of projects. The idea here is to just kind of bullet things that are relevant right now.
I like that, by the way.
That's good.
They'll
Thanks.
change and go away, and new things will come on. Just some ones to highlight: the 2022 water sewer replacement project. Florence, Edith, Catherine's been paved, substantially complete all phases of that project. So should be fully wrapped up here soon. There was a little concrete work to sort out. The pump stations, both the drinking water and the secondary, substantially complete. We'll visit the secondary this afternoon. The last thing kind of remaining there is a communication tower, so the radio link and the SCADA will function.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons we're not putting the water into the system yet.
We don't have
Once that's-
communication.
Yeah. And that kind of, give a little backstory, those apartments ended up blocking us, and when we were designing the project, the apartments weren't a thing. You know, so, so there's gonna be a tower, a taller, antenna tower there, that we won't see today, but you'll notice it at some point.
Okay.
The reuse project is moving along. It's not too exciting right now. They've got all the shoring in, started excavation. They'll continue to dewater and excavate, and we'll see some foundation work starting in June. And then just kind of highlight some of the work Raymond and Matt have done. Barton 5, the pump was put in. We'll have it into the, starting to pump right to the treatment plant next week.
Yep, we'll turn on Monday morning. We sampled it today, so we'll know tomorrow. So Monday morning, we'll flush it again, and we'll be back operational in Barton 5.
Really nice. Good to have that one going again. Then I want to just quickly hand you, these came in after the packet, but this is just some ideas on the change house, treatment plant.
Oh, yeah. Good, thank you.
So there's really just two options there that we've Don, Epic put together really quickly to give some ideas of what's possible. Still kind of fine tuning what, you know, number of showers, number of toilets, the size of it. But this gives you some ideas. We'll have to investigate utilities near the location and kind of fine tune what size of a building it can be and some of those details.
So this is actually just when we talked about just adding on, putting a doorway through and add.
Corridor.
Okay, and I'd mentioned to Clint, wonder if we had that building stand alone, without being attached.
Completely away.
But I mean, would have to see what the cost would be, what the cost would do it that way to this way, which,
It costs more for a building permit when you have a standalone building.
yeah, that's true.
I mean, it falls under different code, doesn't it, Dawn, when you do if you do an add-on versus a standalone?
Well, basically not anymore nowadays. I mean, it makes it a little bit easier. I mean, in this case, our power service, we're just adding on to our own and not needing to get service from the power company, which helps in that process. But in my mind, I think the standalone building would be a little bit cheaper than trying to tie it in together. Just because you're retrofitting the old building.
Right.
If tying into the building could save size, then it would be beneficial.
The only problem is that's assuming we keep the operations space in the old building.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're just building a change house.
Yes.
If you wanna combine into one, we're talking,
Then you would want that connection.
you're, I think that's the issue. You either build a bigger building that operations and the changing goes in, or you keep them next to each other.
Yeah.
And tied together, or there's two separate structures. Those are the three options, I think.
Better
we
look
need.
at it then.
Yeah.
But that gives you an idea of, kind of the sizing and what you can put in
So
there.
when you guys did this, are you guys looking I'm looking at this right now, so is this for 10 years from now, is this gonna be big enough? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I mean, because, a lot of times what we do is we turn around and we build something for now, but you don't look at the future and say 10 years out, is this gonna be big enough? And then now you gotta go back in and restructure, and then it costs you double the cost.
Yeah. We have had some conversations.
I've got
Okay.
something to add there, Mr. Chairman. So I think the initial discussion was, what are we capable of fitting in that location that we talked about just that day on site? And
Right.
That's two options for that specific location. We wanted a little more direction on quantity of units as of showers. How many do you think we would need based on staffing? How much would the board recommend? And then if we were to look at a standalone site and possibly an alternative location, then that gives us the room to expand a little bit if the board wanted more than what's shown there. But you can see on the aerial footage there are some utilities there that we've kind of we've kind of placed that,
Yeah.
projected structure
Right.
within the confines of that,
Okay.
conflicting utilities. But like Trevor mentioned, this is certainly early, we're open to suggestions and direction, so.
Okay. So Dan, so you see what this talking about is down at our sewer plant, we have raw sewage where the change room is. And, you know, we could be under some violations. So we need to really look at this really seriously and, you know, because you say you want the people to change their clothes and not wear their clothes home, and then their personal clothes smells. So, yeah, I like this. This looks good. I just want to make sure we have, you know, just enough down the road so everybody ain't standing in line for a shower.
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, well, we will explore some of the, you know, separate building.
Okay.
You know, really dial in what the need is for the future and have some follow-up.
Okay,
Is that?
that's good.
And then another item, the basement, there's an item on here to get going, you know, to prove that work. But also, we talked about the lighting and doing, kind of some testing of the, you know, light output. So I went through the basement, different areas in comparison to our upper, or our main offices. And where we would have like a conference table or desks, people working, the storage rooms, they're all comparable to our current office areas in the amount of lighting. The two rooms where we're adding a light, unless you go with like a much higher lumen light bulb, they're kind of borderline, you know, dark, I guess. And so adding that third light is gonna help with that and give plenty of light for those, you know, being able to work in there and scan documents and see all that, so. Other than that, if there's any other questions, I think that covers
Okay,
engineering.
okay,
What was on the truck garage? What was on the truck garage?
No, we've got an item in there,
Oh, it's in the agenda to be
Yeah.
approved? Okay.
we can follow up on that.
okay, let's go over to water, Raymond.
Okay, water production call-out report. Culinary water production for the month of April was 87.52 million gallons, or 268.6 acre-feet an 8.5 decrease from April of 2022. Year-to-date, as of April 2023, was 338.12 million gallons, or 1,037.73 acre-feet, and 11.73 decrease from the year 2022. We have purchased 272.26 acre-feet of water from Jordan Valley as of end of April. Call-out report. Total number of call-outs, 16. Total number of hours paid, 96.5. 1 main line, 0 service leaks, 15 miscellaneous.
So Raymond, what falls under miscellaneous then?
If the miscellaneous comes into, like, for some of these include in Dallas is like clog blowers, influent clogged. Some of these are snow removal. Some are cold side meter leaks on the homeowner side. It varies on a lot of these. Emergency blue stakes. So it's kind of just, if you look down on your agenda, you'll see the log of the call out report. But it's from pretty much anything that comes in the homeowner calls.
It's everything but besides the main line, right?
Yeah,
Or a service leak on our side.
yeah. Storm drain collapse is one of them, property. Yeah, sinking in the road, it's just various things that just jumps all over the place.
So if it's not a main line and it's not a hot side service, it's a miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous.
You know,
Would you like more
nope, that's good.
categories?
You know, nope, and this is kind of on the water side, maybe it's sewer too. But you know, that job on 8,000 was a poor quality job. That who did, you know, we know who did that job. I mean, the roads are sinking and I thought they were supposed to come back in and fix all that. I mean, that 8,000 is horrible. I mean, that was a brand new road. And I mean, and you drive down it and the whole thing is, you know, where we had the contractor in there. I mean, that was a poor job.
That is, I think there's a combination, that road in general, anytime we've been in that,
Yeah, it's true.
it's a challenging road to stabilize.
Cause I think they had a leak over there on Saturday over there on that road. Cause they were in the middle of the road shutting water off Saturday afternoon. But as you drive down that road, it's just horrible.
It's like I said, a lot of it is a road like Clint was just mentioning. If you go down the street, Mr. Chairman, where Dominion just is
Right,
now, it's
right.
settling now too. And they did a lot of work.
So
prep
do they
work
have to
there.
come back in? Does Dominion have to come back in after that road's settled and fixed?
Need to come back and fix that, and I think they're aware of it, talking with the county inspector, that they're gonna make him come back and repair that, cause that was just barely patched.
Cause we never did.
We did make them come back.
Did we make them come back on our end?
But yes.
Yes.
The
Okay.
problem is they get past the warranty period.
Yeah,
And the problem with water line and sewer line trenches, one of the things we do is, like for a subdivision, we'll make there be a 2-year warranty, but they've fought that with us because there's some argument that you can't go past
The 12
the
month?
12-month unless you defend that there's a special condition. We've had this battle with developers and their attorneys. And so there are some limitations on what we
Okay.
can require for warranty work.
Can I provide some more background on that?
Yeah.
So where this dispute comes from is that the Land Use Development Act that applies to cities, municipalities, which is not you, you're a special district, limits what cities can require to 1 year. So if you were a city and you were requiring a warranty under LUDMA, you would only be able to provide a 1-year warranty. That provision, however, does not apply to districts. There's nothing in the district code that requires a 1-year warranty period. But the dispute comes from developers saying, well, yes, it's not in the local district code, but that's clearly the intent. Otherwise, why is a municipal provider, why do they only get a 1-year warranty and you don't? You know, it just depends on the developer you're dealing with. But frankly, you can insist for a longer warranty, but they will push back typically.
And one of the challenges, the reason that's important is sometimes we don't see full settlement in 1 year.
That's true.
So,
And
we
that would
came
be-
back, that project in particular, at the year mark, we walked it and came back and had them come back and make repairs. And there's been some additional, I know that there's that spider cracking that has shown up at some locations since, but it's not limited to just the Trent zone.
yeah, it's pretty much, like you say, that road is not very good of a road, so I think, and like you say, like Clint said, we did walk that project and inspect everything on it, and there was some items they did come back and repair. So,
Okay.
And that is one of the arguments I have used for a longer warranty, that yes, districts are different from cities because we don't have all the funding sources, we don't have all the police power. It's harder for us to deal with a non-warranty issue that's almost certainly going to come out outside of the warranty period, and that's the reason for the distinction. But, you know, it's always a fight.
Okay.
and that's all I have.
Okay, thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman.
Okay, Dallas.
Sure, wastewater report. I've got a couple of agenda items that we'll go over, Mr. Chairman, but I wanted to say that we had a power outage down at the plant last weekend. Chet Draper was called out. It was nearly 11 hours. But on this agenda, we've got an additional fuel tank that will tie to our generator. The ultimate goal was, originally we started at about 2 days fuel capacity. we're at closer to 4 days right now. And with this third fuel tank, I think we'll be closer to 6 or 7 days. So we wanted to be able to get through a long weekend. If there was any type of natural disaster that would limit our ability to get fuel, we'd be able to run for close to 6 to 7 days, and I think that's where this fuel tank gets us.
Okay.
And I wanted to report that, in the roughly 35 business days that the RV dump has been open this year, there's been 24 customers that have come down and used the service. So not too many, a little less than 1 per day. I think maybe those numbers bump up a little bit once we hit June and July, get into the heavy camping season, but that's just where we're at. I wanted you to be aware of that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and you'll continue to,
Continue to track that month
Okay,
to month
awesome.
and report on it.
I have a question.
Sure.
So now you have all this fuel storage. Who will be responsible? You have to make sure that those algae doesn't start growing in our
Right.
stored fuel. Who would take care of that?
So we've got a maintenance program in place where we monitor that fuel based on when we purchase it and when the tanks get fueled. And then, you know, the power outages is so frequently that we're not keeping fuel in those tanks for more than a month at a time. So, we don't anticipate at this current stage, having any issues with that fuel failing. But we've got some mitigation in place just to watch that stuff.
so you're saying we're having a lot of outage?
Well, that was my next question. You were working with the power company. We were
Yes,
trying
so
to
what-
improve that.
Right.
How's that going?
It's going good. We received some feedback from them. They've highlighted some areas that they're looking into. They don't have hard dates on some of the upgrades that they need to do, but they are aware of our power concerns. They're aware of some of the equipment that we've highlighted with them. They came out to the plant, we did a walkthrough, and then we've highlighted some of the areas outside of the plant where the equipment fails. Usually the lines touch together. So they're fully aware of it. I just don't know how high we are on their priority list.
So on legal side, what can we do, Nathan?
Yeah, how do we get a little higher on their priority list?
Yeah, I mean, especially what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So, is it Rocky Mountain Power?
It is.
Is that our provider? Do we have a special contract with them or anything separately from just being a normal end user?
I don't know that it's special.
We have multiple contracts.
For every service.
Each site has a separate
Yeah,
contract.
so that would be I would just need to see what those contracts say first of all.
And I don't know if we would have one at the wastewater treatment plant for a more modern part of it.
We have a new contract, new service contract, for the reuse project.
Right.
Yeah, because we need to figure
I
If
don't
you wanna
know.
send me the contracts, we
I don't
can look
think
at those
there's
at the first step.
Together from all that
Special
legal
about
stuff, but he's being shut
commercial.
down.
So what we did, Mr. Chairman, is we calculated all the hours that we have for power outages. We highlighted any equipment that was damaged due to the power outages, and then we calculated the total cost on fuel that we spent to run our generators when the power was down. And we forwarded all that information to them, and that's when they started formulating this report based on our concerns, and that's kind of where we're at. It's been a 3 to 6 month deal, but I feel like in the last month or so, we've got some real good traction. They actually came out and walked through and talked through some of our concerns, so I just don't think it's a quick moving process.
Okay.
The good news is we've got some more neighbors that are, you know, we obviously have the Dominion.
Yeah.
You know, as the neighbors fill in, there's more collective power there.
Right.
Didn't we approve a field office, sewer and water to a field office that's gonna be down there? But they haven't constructed it yet, I guess, huh?
Whitaker?
Yeah, Whitaker has one, S&S Electric is, you know, west of, American Eagle. So there's gonna be a few more customers along that
Okay.
corridor.
But I'm talking about the dead end that goes down by the tank, that goes down 8,000.
Dominion?
Well, yeah, Dominion, yeah, and the thing about them though is they brought power all the way up 8,000. So they didn't come from the same feed.
Oh,
So it
But
looks
there's obviously, you know, a gap between our feed and that new feed and
Right.
there's probably something that needs to be done between those two.
Well, I think we need to keep pushing hard on it though, because,
sounds like with what they're doing, their document and everything,
Right.
that should help a lot. No, I'm hearing a lot of people saying there's a lot of trash and people still dumping down
Really?
on the end of 8,000. It's terrible.
I think it has gotten better, with Rocky
they've
Mountain
got a-
being there, and now that it's asphalt and paved,
Or you mean with Dominion?
or with Dominion.
Yeah, there's a truck down there watching all day long.
Most days, and we inspect our final effluent once a week, and we call in if we notice any extra dumping, so.
Okay,
And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
okay, thank you. Kaylee, now let's turn it over to the controller report.
Sorry, I had to clean my glasses. So first off, we have the compliance requirement report, and proud to say we are in compliance. The last actions that I've completed are, of course, to report the quarterlies here in just a minute to the board. The next one is to post the first quarter financial transactions onto the Utah Public Notice website. No, the transparency website, excuse me. That's been done. Then on the second page, I've highlighted those just to keep in mind we have these trainings coming up for the employees.
Okay,
On the third page, as Clint has asked, I've added in yellow, of course, because it's coming up, the election deadlines and requirements. So the next deadline and requirement is to post the candidacy filing period, which is from June 1st to June 7th. That notice is on our website already. It needs to be posted to the Utah Public Notice website 10 days before the first day of the declaration of filing period. So it's about the 22nd of May. And then it also needs to be posted at least 5 public places. So we'll post 5 posters somewhere indicating the declaration period.
okay,
The blue area for the election is dealing with a primary, which normally we don't have a primary.
right.
The green is for the general election. So those dates will start coming into play, obviously, the sooner we get, closer we get to the elections. So. If you'd like, I can go in. Does anybody have any questions on the compliance report?
Nope,
I could go straight into the financial report if you'd like.
yeah, go ahead.
So this is from January to March of 2023. Overall, we have about $4,135,201 in income, but I want to remind you that there's some impact fees in there that are accrued, but they're not paid yet, just
Okay.
because we've billed the developers. The next is the chart you've seen before, talking about the revenue versus budgeted revenue and comparing it to last year also. So we are over what we've budgeted, and we are, as of the end of March, just a little bit higher in water sales than we were last year, and that is 100% due to growth and 100% due to our increase. Because Raymond's showing we are at like a 9% decrease in production. So it's not usage, it's those two other things. The expenses look great. We're all under budget at this time. So I'm happy to report that. I just also want to, there's detail, oh, excuse me. The amount of money that we've paid towards our capital facility projects from January to March has been $696,000. It kind of shows each project down the bottom.
Right.
That is not saying total spent on the projects, it's just during that period.
Okay,
The next is what we have in the bank, restricted cash, 10 million, unrestricted, 27. And then the next slide is.
so
just
Leah, I got a question to ask you about. So on that $27 million that we have in reserves, right?
Uh-huh.
Do we invest that and get a return back? I mean, have we looked, what I'm trying to say, have we looked around to see if we're getting the best bang for our buck with that money? I mean, have we checked with other agencies? Because I spoke with Cypress Credit, and I don't know if they've reached out to you guys or not.
Danny has.
Okay, and I don't know, I just kind of, we've been with Zions Bank for years and years and years, but are we just with Zions because we're content? Or should we be really looking to see we're getting the best bang for our buck?
Yeah, I agree. A lot of the unrestricted, well, a lot of our funds are in the PTIF, Public Treasures Investment Fund.
Okay.
Which during this whole, I don't wanna say recession, but during the time where interest rates have been really low, the PTIF did pay the highest. So we were good there, although it wasn't the great a return, but it was.
That's
one
quite a
the
bit of,
highest.
that's quite a bit of cash. I mean, that's quite a bit of money when you look at it.
Just last year, we invested, we checked into some, I think they're called Capital Wealth Management. It's a division of Zions, actually, and they are approved investors from the Money Management Act. And we did move over, some funds to earn more on those. But it ties it up for a year, and so we really don't wanna put a whole lot into something like that, cause we don't want the cash tied up that we're gonna be needing for some projects that we're doing.
Well,
But
they,
yeah, we're looking, and Cypress in particular, Danny has come down, and I do have intentions of setting an appointment with him and seeing what they have.
Cypress has hired quite a few people who've came over from Zion.
Yeah,
So the people at Zion are, I mean, they've been trained by Zion very well, but they said things have changed, so Cypress is saying they can offer some more things that are better for us.
the only thing we really have with Zions is our operating account that we're cutting checks out of, and we only keep a certain amount in that at any time.
Okay, well, I just
The
wanna make,
majority of it is in PTIF and, the investment with capital management that we made.
cause I just wanna make sure we're getting the best that's possibly out there, because sometimes we just get content.
Absolutely,
The best with the security level,
yeah.
the insurance that we can live with, right? I mean, you wanna get the best rate, but have it as secure as possible.
Sure.
Yeah, and granted, a bank, the they're only FDIC insured for $250,000.
That's it, that's not very
Right,
much.
So,
No, it's
so our
not.
concern, we have the public treasury insurance fund, right?
Yeah, the
Tell them
PTIF.
what's the advantage of having it there?
Because it covers governmental monies. I don't know if it covers it more or not, but, they are insured, we are insured. a little
Let's
higher
find
for
out for
that.
sure though, just to make sure.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
But if we went to Cypress or even Key Bank, or, I would only feel comfortable with putting 250,000 in, because that's the
Well, I
FDIC
think that-
insured.
Well, we're just seeing,
You're saying, are you getting the best return? But for that return, how much risk do you take on?
So, yeah, the credit unions have the same type of insurance that banks do, it's just under a different federal agency.
Right.
So it's usually, I just looked into this, it's $250,000 per, I think, account per each. So under the, if you're a bank, it's FDIC, if you're under a district, or I'm sorry, district, it's, yeah, it's,
Or something like that.
it's
insured.
another one, but they're both backed by the full faith and credit of the federal government, so.
but Zions could be investing in things that could be riskier. And that's what,
Potentially, yeah. The big difference comes down to this usually, is banks oftentimes have shareholders that are looking for more profits, and so therefore they're driven to do that type of investment, whereas a lot of the credit unions are nonprofits, so they're more risk averse. Personally, my opinion is that the credit unions are usually smaller, so they may not have all of the bells and whistles of a bank, but they're managed in a more conservative way.
yep.
So it's really kind of a pro and con as to what you want. But, I mean, if, our firm banks with Zions, I bank with Zions personally, and all this stuff in the news has caused me to move some of my personal money over to a credit union just to be a little more diversified.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, like I said, I just wanna make sure.
We'll look into
And I agree with you. Like I said, the majority, like 95% of our funds are in PTIF.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I could keep going. The next slide is the payables. I just wanted to show you that this is where some of our money is going. $1,044,000 has been used already to pay off accounts payable related debt, long-term debt, and developer related and payroll related payables. And then the following is line by line, detail by detail, where it's spent and the assets and liabilities of the district. On the very last page, I just wanted to point out, by the end of March, it figures we're at 25% of the year that's over, and that's where our expenditures should be. We are showing we are under budget. However, if you want to use the 25% kind of measurement,
Yeah.
our total expenditures are at 37. So we are a little higher than the 25% calculated for the year, but we are under budgeted.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to point out, unless you have any questions.
No, I'm good on it. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, Andrew, let's have an HR report.
So we were able to have a activities committee meeting yesterday. Kim Cisneros has stepped up and is gonna lead that. They talked to their crews about some ideas for the summer party, and we'll be getting some stuff together for that for you, for the board to look at. Harbinger training for the staff and management is gonna begin May 16th. Waiting to hear back on quotes from both Ford and Chevy for the company fleet. I spoke with Chevy again yesterday, and it sounds like they're getting close to be able to get us a quote together. I think right now the biggest holdup is them wanting to make sure they can find the amount of vehicles that they need. But they sound like they're pretty confident at this point. And then we posted in-house for the staffing engineer yesterday. That's a 7-day posting, and then we'll be able to post outside coming next week.
Okay, also too, on the vehicles, we might have to do what we did before. We might have to just buy these vehicles out and then, wait till the new ones come and then, take pictures, have them give us what they're gonna give us per vehicle. And then when we get them, I mean, unfortunately, that's probably,
Chevy sounds like they're confident that we could finish before August.
okay, awesome. We like that.
That's it for HR unless you have.
Okay, you need to talk about the ratifying of the negotiation.
There's a section for that.
Okay,
in the
okay.
negotiation, But if you wanna talk about that now.
Well, we can, let's just do it right now since you're on it.
Okay, so the union ratified on Tuesday night and are ready to accept the contract. We have a copy of the red line contract that we can let the board look through, in close, if that's what you prefer to do. And then we have a copy of it, not redlined as well, for the board.
Okay, also, to the other two board members, I have asked, and I want your guys' input, is I've asked once we get the contract all done and get it all our AR&R stuff, is to, let's issue each one of our employees, a copy of the AR&Rs, so
Yep.
if they have any issues, they can go back through and look at stuff if they have questions.
And I think what would help, if we have things that have added, we probably ought to highlight those in the book.
Right.
So the new guys kind of know, hey, this was added. Sometimes it helps reviewing it, if you know.
What changed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, project awards and agreements, discussion policy motion for the following projects. Who's taking that? You, okay.
Board, I'll take the first one there. It's 2023 water line replacement project. So we had that bid opening, and if you look inside your packet, and I'll bring it up on the screen here, you'll see the recommendation letter. We had 4 contractors. Low bid was Nolan and Son Construction. A little bit higher than our engineer estimate, but given what we've bid out this year and even some, last year's projects, it's kind of no surprise it's a little bit higher. There's a lot of work. Costs have gone up. There's different things that have occurred, or continuing to occur. So this is a little higher than what we had estimated and what we had budgeted for the year. Our budget was around 1.8 million. But we see this project going into 2024, where we can budget, you know, at the end of this year for 2024 to make up that difference in the budgeted amount this year and the total project cost.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, the one thing I'd like to track is when you have a project you go ahead with, sometimes there's some contractors very nitpicky and they'll get extras. I think I'd like to record that when we have a project and we establish this, not that it isn't valid or not, but we need to track that and it needs to come back to the board if we had extras that we
Change
had on.
orders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we
Because
always seem-
sometimes we miss stuff.
And we always seem to have a bunch of them to change.
Well, I
order.
don't know. That's why I just wondered. I don't hear that much about it, but maybe we ought to be recording it a little bit.
And no one that says it's done work for us, and we've been pleased with their work, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and this project, type of project is right in their wheelhouse. We're confident they'll do a good job. And this is, you know, these replacement projects have been really critical to our operation and maintenance. You know, it cuts down on those leaks. These are targeted areas for a reason, undersized lines, so we'd like to, you know, move forward and
Okay.
and get this going if the board will approve that.
Sure.
So do we need, like, the culinary water line, do we need to have, like, where at? I know, I mean, I know where, I know where they're at, but does it need, I guess it doesn't need to be on here, right? I mean, what
The
areas?
location.
The location,
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have it in this letter, but, you know, we could always add some additional information like that.
okay, yeah, that would be good, because in that, if something comes up, you know, we know exactly where we're going with this. Is that all right, legal?
Yep.
Okay,
I don't see an address anywhere.
Yeah, there's not.
It would be helpful under the bid schedule A, what portion that is, and bid schedule B.
okay,
Is it spread all over? Or is it in a central
No,
location?
these are,
over here, isn't it?
Just the
yeah,
west side.
90,
On the west side.
9,000 west and 8850 west.
and 8850.
It's all them crew.
So, and basically from Main Street down to 31.
Right, okay.
So,
Okay.
It'd just be good to have it on there, just so,
yeah, refresh your memory, and, yeah, they easily have a map or.
who needs that refreshed?
So I think that is, so we got one in that page at the back, instead of the streets on.
Okay. Okay, do you wanna make? a
Yeah,
motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make approval, submit for approval, the 2023 culinary water line replacement project to Nolan and Sons for the amount of $2,127,000.
We'll second that.
Been motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Compal?
Sure. So, Mr. Chairman, this is what I was just talking about, the purchase of the third 2,000-gallon fuel tank. So we currently have 3 backup generators at the wastewater treatment plant. This is the third fuel tank, so now all of our backup generators will have a backup fuel tank.
okay,
It's awesome. I love those. I've got one.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a proposal to approve the purchase of the third 2,000-gallon Convault fuel tank for wastewater treatment plant RAS building generator in the amount of $29,958.
I'll second that.
Been motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next one is the geotechnical investigation for the wastewater treatment plant influent pump station project. We're into beginning the design on that pump station project. And we've, you know, discussed with the consultant designing that, figured out what we need to investigate, subsurface, and got with IGES, who also did the geotech for the reuse project. So being that they're familiar with the site, had already done that investigation, made sense to ask them to put this proposal together for the influent project as well. So this will give us information below those new structures, and, you know, provide that for the design of the project. So IGS has done well for us on past projects and recommend that this is approved if
Okay,
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit for approval the Geotechnical Investigation Services, IGES, for the wastewater treatment plant effluent pump station project in the amount of $33,100.
Second that.
been motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Barcodes, Leah.
Okay, I'll take the inventory. For a couple of years, I've been looking for an inventory solution because what we have has not been working. At the end of every year, we do a physical count of all our inventory. And then during the year, the office, myself, Mandy, we record purchases of inventory off invoices. One, there's a chance that the vendor billed us for a wrong part and we got a different part. So that throws our ending inventory off. Anyway, it's very frustrating. And also a few years ago, we tried to expand what we're using now by putting computers in each location we have inventory. And those computers were older ones. We didn't want to spend much money on getting new ones. So they were older and they didn't work sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. Anyway, so that effort pretty much failed. So for a while now, I've been thinking we need something that our technicians can go out with their phone, because everybody carries their phone, and I know there's some out there that has apps on their phone. They just scan a barcode and say, okay, I'm taking this part, and there we go, it's there. So I found this ASAP solution. It's called, well, Barcode ASAP. It does have an app that can be used on a phone, and it does have a console module. I've been working with it for the last few weeks, and I am convinced that it will solve our inventory issue. Our guys can receive the parts that come in, scan the barcode. They don't always see the cost because the vendor doesn't put the cost of the inventory on the shipping receiving tickets. But if they receive it, here in the office, we can see what they have received and we can find the cost for it when the invoice comes in. So I'm recommending trying 1 year with this barcode inventory system to see if it will solve our problem. Go ahead.
so no, you're good. You know, that's the question I've been asking for a long, long time about is inventory. It's like, you know, it's like you go get a part out of the warehouse or whatever. I mean, do you check it out before you take it, or do you take it then you forget to check it?
Tell them that we've used it. 'cause
Yeah,
we're
and
down
then
a part.
we're down a part. And I would really like to come look at this because I'm really, it makes me wonder really how many parts go out without ever being checked out. And we turn around and reorder a lot of this stuff, and it's saying we got 10 and we only got 1.
Right,
So
sure.
with this system that she's talking about, when these guys are on the job, they can actually use these and scan the parts they're using, because on the trucks, they actually have the barcodes on the tool bands, so they can actually, as they're pulling out of
Okay.
inventory out of the truck, they can apply
makes-
this to that job number.
Yeah, that makes
It's
sense.
just, I mean, we've had the barcodes before, and we've had the point of sale, those little pointer guns before also. But they had to be, the guys had to come to the console that was sitting there if it worked that day, and do it right there. This way, you know, the camera on your phones will scan the barcodes now.
Okay.
So Leal, I only have one question on this.
Sure.
What is the yearly fee that reoccurs on this thing?
Good question, hold on, sorry.
Annual fees, what, 4,900 or?
Yeah, the annual
Yeah.
subscription is $1140, $1,140.
Yes. So for the first year, it's the 4474, and as Trevor said, the annual is 1,095. The more years you purchase of the subscription,
Unless it goes down.
the more of a discount you get, but
We wanna make sure we like it.
yeah,
first,
I wanna make sure that,
So what's the reason for the annual fee? Is the equipment need to be upgraded?
It's for us to use their program.
Licensing.
Yeah, licensing, there you go, thanks.
Yeah, see, the problem I have is sometimes they want a certain amount all the time, like AutoCAD. They want you to pay yearly, and they're really hard on it now. So it used to be, we would go in and talk to them and say, look, if we have an upgrade to the software that we use, then we'll buy the upgrade. But if it doesn't have anything to do with what we do, then there's no reason to pay
Yeah,
for that.
That's understandable.
But now they've got agreements where it's locked in, you pay yearly no matter what.
See, and this is cloud-based, so we can have the app on the phones and we can, so any update to the program, you'll get automatic, you'll get with this annual subscription.
Some of that subscription is gonna be covering your cloud data storage as well.
So we're paying $1,100 yearly regardless what we do.
User service.
Yeah,
You know, if it works, it's gonna be great,
oh yeah.
but
I think it's a plus.
Really good.
Who else is using this system? Do you know?
Yes, I did ask him.
Did they give you a list of people that are using it?
I believe it's in my email, yes.
I mean, it might not hurt to call somebody else that's using it, just to see.
Oh,
I mean, you'd hate to
absolutely.
think that the equipment's faulty or having problems, you know what I mean? I mean,
Totally agree.
yeah, it wouldn't hurt to check to other people or users, and they say, oh yeah, the damn machine quit working, or, you know, no, I mean,
No, I
that
know.
kind of
See,
stuff
we
happens.
wouldn't buy, we've got all the equipment we need to work with this.
Okay,
It's just the software.
it's the
So we've-
software.
we've
So is this
got
what we're paying for here, is software only? Okay.
Software and cloud storage. There was something else I was gonna say. Oh, I did look at another inventory system, but it was for, their charges were a lot higher than this one. They were gonna charge 300 per month, per user.
Wow.
Yeah, it was quite more expensive than this one.
Well, we know we gotta do something for sure,
Right.
absolutely,
Something.
yeah. Oh,
Because at the
are we,
end of the
are we
year,
locked
for
into
3
this?
weeks, I'm
How
pulling
long
my
are
hair
we
out.
locked
12
into
months,
this?
it's for a year.
It's just for a
You
year.
renew it every 12 months? Oh,
Just
give it a
for a
shot,
year.
let's go.
Okay,
So I can find out, for you if we need, who else uses it, or, I can still do that, we can approve it and start. I'm using it right now, cause they've given me like a month free.
You might just die though if somebody says, oh yeah, we used to use that, now we use so-and-so. Different system. But it doesn't hurt to check, you know what I
The
mean?
thing I really like about it is the phone app,
Yeah,
because our guys are not gonna, they don't have time to come to the computer and hurry and log that in
No,
and
no,
walk
no.
out.
okay,
Phone app is nice.
okay. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to get approval to subscribe to the barcode inventory system for 1 year in the amount of $4,474.
I'll second that.
it's been motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Our next one, Dallas.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, this is for the purchase of a group of technology instrumentation, a group of sensors from Hawk. So these will go in the final effluent box at the wastewater treatment plant. When I say this is a group of sensors, this gives us the ability to track and trend multiple parameters that we are manually taking samples for now. So what kind of leads to a purchase decision like this is labor time. This is a sample that we take twice a week. It takes about 2 hours per sample. It's a sample that I would like to have the information on several times a day. So with this sensor, we'll be able to get a reading out of it every 15 minutes and be able to track and trend that. So 2 hours a day, that's 8 hours a week, that's 32 hours a month of labor that we'll save just with this. So this quote includes the multiple sensors, the controller to run it, all the mounting hardware, and then the communication cables that are required. So this is something that we budgeted for and have really been looking forward to. It's gonna be a great time saver and a great data trender, so.
So when it's out there in the ditch, Dallas, how do you check it to make sure it's accurate? How do you calibrate it?
So there's a calibration process that goes into it, and the manufacturer recommends doing that every month. But it's not actually in the ditch, it's in the clean water at the effluent. So it's not a very hazardous environment. We've got other sensors in similar areas, and the maintenance on them is pretty minimal, so.
Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to approve the purchase of the Hatch instrumentation sample probes for the wastewater treatment plant outfall in the amount of $26,326.20.
I'll second that.
In motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I just had Clint send this information to him. We went out on a tour, to Kennecott, to the dike, and toured it all, and the cameras they have are just unbelievable. We could see people down at your place. So I've had this on there, so I just sent it over to Clint, because I think we really need to look at these cameras. And Kennecott gave us all the information, who they went through, but you could look,
We
from,
were sitting up there and you could look right in.
we came right down at your office, right, zoomed right in on you.
Scott was mowing the lawn.
Yeah. And, so, the purchase 11,200, can we approve this, but have it so you can look into this first? Because I think this is something that we might want to use elsewhere than just, at the sewer plant, I think.
Specific spots.
Yeah, in Pacific
Or
spots.
Maybe we need to look where they were doing vandalism or
I
dumping garbage.
I think one of the things that we need to really look at having one is now we got that new reservoir up here and you got all them apartments. That might not be a bad idea to have a camera up there too.
So I'm happy to table it, Mr. Chairman, while we look into those. The way we kind of came to this decision was based on the cost. We
Right.
wanted the best camera for our buck, so a camera that can potentially zoom in on a person from over a mile away is certainly gonna exceed our $3,800 purchase price on this for this specific camera. And then additionally, the treatment plant cameras are separate from any cameras that are at water facilities, so that's something that Raymond takes care of. But if, now that we've got that information, if you'd like to table this till next month, and we can see if that's within our budget. So I'm about 9,000 under budget with this quote right here. So I do have some leeway. I just didn't wanna, I didn't wanna necessarily get a camera that can zoom in from a mile away when all I wanna do is be able to see a license plate at the RV dump.
Right, and I think we got told, now, tell me, I think we got told that they weren't that expensive, right? I mean,
That's what we were told.
and then they have one up here, right up here on the top of the mountain that could just zoom down. I mean, it's just amazing. Cause they get people calling and saying
right.
about the tailings dust and they can zoom right in onto the tailings but like I said, I think we need to maybe look at, cause like I said, Ryan Perry gave us all the information and maybe we need to look at that and just see. Cause I think there could be certain other areas that we could use them cameras. But like I said, that day, they zoomed right down to, Scott was mowing the lawn down there, it's like right there.
But if Dallas feels comfortable that these cameras will do what he needs in that
Right.
area, but you're right about that, we do have specific areas. If you come back, we can approve this, and if you decide you wanna do something a little different, we can make an adjustment to that
Sure.
next month.
One other thing that gave me a little bit of peace of mind is this outfit, they told me they'll bring out this camera. And I said, I'm not gonna buy it unless I can actually see the license plate number. He said he'll come out and mount it and we can approve it. And if it doesn't meet our expectations, then he won't sell it to us.
And use a little leeway.
So I just go at your direction, Mr.
No,
Chairman.
let's just go ahead and we can approve this one, but I really, really wanna look, Clint, at them other ones.
Well, especially around the reservoir.
Yes.
Now we've got population around it, we
Right.
really need to keep.
And our
track.
EDR plant and just,
And we have cameras in the system for the EDR and some of the well fields right now, and cameras that we have now are really nice cameras, and we can get some good video out of them.
Well, I think the reservoir,
But I think
where we
in,
got little
one-
kids, apartments,
Yeah,
we really need to have
we need to get one on
some better
this
security.
secondary reservoir and our other zone reservoir
I-
as well, because being next to those apartments is gonna be crucial.
Yeah,
Right.
a lot more population around it now. I don't think you worry about the well field, the goats can run all over the well.
And the kids,
That's ridiculous, but I think when you got stored water and
Yeah.
children,
goats.
it could turn into something different.
And that's crucial.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to approve the purchase of the installation of the additional security cameras, the wastewater treatment plant for the amount of $11,220.
I'll second that.
Been motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, sorry Clint about that. I've had it just sitting on my phone. It's like, oh.
All right, Board and Chair, the next item is material testing services by IGES. It's for the reuse project, not to exceed 16.8. The reason this is coming at this point, you know, that project's already going, but there was some, you know, changes in how they might excavate material, how many concrete pours they're gonna have. Those are some things that can kind of change depending on the contractor's approach. And so, once we had the contractor selected, we brought, you know, everyone together to create the scope for this, and the need for the testing services, so.
Didn't we already have this covered in the contract?
No.
How come?
Well,
Don't we normally do?
Well, sometimes we will have, I mean, and the contractor has their own testing service that, you know, where they do their.
And they submit it to you?
Well, yeah, they will share that information, but this is for our testing of the material and inspections on the concrete and those items.
This will be what will be used for the counties.
Yeah,
Oh, it is?
This will be what we submit, right?
yes.
Oh, so it's independent testing that you have to submit to
yeah.
the county that the contractor met? the
Yeah.
requirement?
Yeah, so they'll have
Isn't the
their,
information that the contractor submits to us isn't good enough to give to the county?
It depends.
theoretically,
You
but
have to have
we,
a special, each person has to be identified for what they're inspecting.
Can we send this bill to the county then, if that's what they want? This is a bunch of crap. I mean, the stuff that the contractor does to us to satisfy our requirements should be okay.
There's aspects of it that they do, and there's aspects of it that we do to preserve.
yeah, to ensure that it's done to the standard, you know,
To the county standard?
yeah, so
Tell them to
that's
get their
where-
tester out and test it on their dime.
where we have control over this a little bit more, so.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to approve the General Material Testing Services, IGES, for the WRF reuse project to not to exceed $16,800.
Second that.
Been motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, scanning services.
Okay, we are ready to move on. Starting to have an outside, agency scan what's in file cabinets. The file cabinets that are in the pods outside, the UCI can come and get them and scan
What?
what's in there. And it's very, reasonable pricing. Let me just get out of this real quick. We've looked at UCI before,
They're parolee?
kind of had a concern with security and things like that, but they've moved into a new location, if you saw by the letter there. And then I says, okay, well, who else uses you? Because I want to feel comfortable with what we're doing. So they sent me everyone that uses them.
I know. Right then, I went,
And it's government agencies.
And yes, it's only $7 an hour.
$7 an hour for not one each person, but
Four.
for 4 or 5, 6, or however many people is working on it.
yeah, the only problem is they're gonna pick up your documentation and take it somewhere else, right? That's a little scary. I mean-
It is. I thought the same thing.
I mean, if it
but-
got lost or got in an
That's one of the challenges we've had, really.
Uh-huh.
Do it,
But all these other government entities, they come and get their stuff too.
Yeah.
maybe they don't care about their stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's better if it did
I mean,
get
this
thrown away.
is the county, this is the county treasurer.
Okay.
Well, you know what they say, if it's too good to be true, it might be.
If it's too good to be true, let's try it and
But
see.
we gotta
I'll
try
tell you
it, we
what,
gotta
I-
do something,
Yes, okay.
If we don't move in this direction,
right, we'll be in
and not
trouble.
saying that it will never get done, it will get done.
Hey,
but-
I don't want Mick chewing me out again, well,
No,
let's get
in
it
my,
done.
in my thing, I was thinking, okay, before I send everything to a scanner, say for instance Alphagraphics, I think we really need to go through the cabinet.
Yeah, let's just try this out and see what happens.
How far away does it go? How far away is
To the
the,
prison.
is it?
It's a different, there's
Well, that's only out on I-80 then.
different location now, I mean.
We
they-
might could deliver it.
It's,
So I-
it's on site, but it's not inside the.
I talked to him this morning,
Okay.
and he said, well, I need to check with 2
Other inmates.
warehouses.
Could we go down and tour it just to see what it is first
Might
before?
not hurt.
We could,
Just-
I don't know, honestly, I don't know.
I
We
mean,
could just have the guys drop it off at the gate down there, then,
Bring a shank or.
yeah.
Well, so you just wanna make sure it doesn't get mixed up with somebody else or lost, that's the only two things.
Sure.
How long will they have it off-site for?
He needed to come and see
What we have.
how many, yeah,
And how long will it take them? They don't know?
depending on the volume.
I'd like to go down and see how it,
I could
The
call him,
process.
call him and ask him.
It wouldn't hurt to go at least get an idea, let him look at what you've got, then have him show you what he's gonna do and how long it'll take and everything.
and show us which ones are gonna do it.
Oh, I don't know if we're gonna do that.
If we were to have to go through every file cabinet like what they're
Yes,
proposing, I promise you it will take
a while.
a long time.
Well, it wouldn't be anything less than $20 an hour, I guarantee you.
Till I'm off the board, 2 more years, right?
If not longer.
Yeah.
How much
I
do
mean,
we have?
we've been trying to get
Right.
this.
How many file cabinets do we have, Leo? What's,
Downstairs we had what, 10, 15 maybe?
Total file cabinet?
And we got about 120
of stuff
out.
that's gotta be scanned? No,
Yes.
of stuff, what needs to be scanned, not how many file cabinets we own.
Right, exactly. So in order for me to answer that question, I will have to go through every piece of paper in
No,
every
we
cabinet.
don't.
No, is there 10 file cabinets full of stuff that we need?
There's 120 filing cabinets downstairs.
Plus,
How many?
120
No, there isn't.
that we gotta go
have you
through.
been up to the shop?
Yes, have you seen the one at the shop?
Shops are full too.
Well,
Yeah.
let's get it
We
done.
might have 200 now.
Let's get her done. Give it a try.
Okay.
Take the oldest stuff first, so if they lose it, it's okay. No,
See if we
seriously.
can tour,
Okay.
do something.
So once this stuff's scanned, what can we do with it? Can we destroy the paperwork?
I would say 90% of the stuff will be just destroyed.
Okay.
And we'll have it
So,
electronically.
so where are you gonna store the scanned data? Do we have
Our
secure?
server's large enough. to-
Right.
Okay,
Remember we
been-
spent all that money, got that new
We've
server
been
and.
planning on it
Okay.
for a long time, and so it's.
That's
You know what I would like, if we could tour it, I'd like to go see it too,
Okay,
just to see what it's about.
I'll find out.
I don't see how we could afford
Trustees.
not to do this. That's a
Right.
good idea.
Okay,
The 10,000 on the agenda I put because that's what we've budgeted the last few years, and this year we've budgeted.
You better have him
10.
come look
But
at
I
it
don't know
before
as
you
if
get a
it'll be
number.
that much.
well,
We'll
think
do
it was
this in
that
groups then. We'll approve it in groups.
If we do go to 10,000, we'll stop and then we'll go do 10,000
More.
next year.
Okay.
or else we can just
Yeah.
put an addendum onto it and,
So wouldn't it be the best idea is to take our oldest stuff first and let them go through that first?
Well, you want the pods out of here, don't you?
yes, the pods are right back here that's got
Oh,
all.
yeah, let's
That'll
get
be the
that out.
first.
That's
That's the
costing money.
first.
That'll
There's
pay.
100 filing cabinets in
Holy
the pod.
There's not that many.
So how much are,
150.
how much are they gonna
Drawers.
take at a time? They can take one file cabinet at a time or
Take
5?
everything that's in the pod.
They'll take everything in the pod.
Will we just take the pod down to them and drop it off at the gate?
We can have
We
it
want
delivered
them-
for
we want
$500
them to-
bucks.
We want them to do all the work.
Okay. Okay,
They'll
let's,
pick it up, they'll deliver them, they'll scan them, they'll review them.
that will be
they'll-
really nice though, once we get that done.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my heck. Yeah, but
We've been trying to do that for 14 years since I've been on the board.
And I was told that I would get in
Before
trouble if we had to put what's in the pods back downstairs, so.
oh, my heavens. Let's not do that.
Yeah, we don't, okay.
We're not gonna do that.
I think
Okay.
it's a good solution. And when I saw that they were doing other government entities and, you know, people that we relate with, it gave me a lot more comfort.
Well, how do we check and make sure that they've scanned everything? Do we need them to mark each group so that we know that they've gone through? What if
I'll
they
have to
miss some?
find out,
They'll see what the
I'll see their
routine is.
process.
Yeah, the
I'll-
process, see what it is.
I'll ask them more of their process.
Maybe we need to hire somebody just to check this. I mean, that's a lot of work. We don't want to tie all the way out without checking these
It'll
guys
take
to make sure they get everything
Yeah.
scanned. Somebody's gonna have to
Well, you know what?
proof it.
We'll see exactly who's using them, and then we'll find out what the process is. But we can just go ahead and approve this, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
we'll go from there, and
Okay. I'll be
we
quick.
definitely gotta get them 200 filing cabinets out of here.
Absolutely.
They said they could pick them up next week.
Okay. I think have him come look at it, then you go down and see the process and
Yep.
then
Okay.
make sure you're okay that we've covered, the cost is gonna cover what you wanna get done.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to approve the scanning services to UCI not to exceed $10,000.
Second that.
And motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
All right, next item is, change order number 2 for the Landmark Companies. This is the basement remodel project, so that'll be the, getting the trim, the tile, doing the coating and the trim in the, safe area,
and the lighting too.
the lighting.
Did you get a mural put on there so that it fills that wall up?
We don't have a mural.
We're
but
gonna
it's
put,
Landscape.
planned.
we're gonna put a projector down there.
Oh,
Yep, and then, you know, if we paint that wall
Right.
of color to be determined. So,
Just something to lighten that up downstairs.
yeah, yeah. I think this is a, you know, reasonable cost. It's kind of in line with
Right.
what they had done previously and the cost for those things, so. Recommend approving that
Okay.
change order.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make approval for the change order number 2, Landmark Companies for the basement remodel project, the amount of $23,294.86.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
It's amazing how we just can outgrow this, you know, how you get something and then you just don't make it big enough, you know, and it's like. Okay, a discussion, possibly motion to reject all the following projects awarded and the adjournment, the Magna Truck Garage
Yep,
project.
so on April 27th, we had a bid opening on this project. We had one bidder, B-Logic, came in well over our estimate,
Well over.
well over our budget. And being that it's one bid, high, you know, we couldn't recommend awarding this. We've already reached out to a metal building fabricator, specifically to get you know, some quotes on that and try a different avenue of construction.
So I have a question for you. Why couldn't you take this, this shop, this garage that you want to build, and link it into one of our other projects that we got going? Like, you know, whatever other projects we got going, why don't we link that project in with this and see what kind of a price we could come up with? Like, I know we got some projects going, could we link them projects in with this?
Yeah, one that
And see if you
potentially
could,
might make sense is the solids handling building.
Okay.
You know, once that's there, that's a metal building. We have a contractor that does that.
because I thought you could probably
Potentially,
maybe get it.
this would link into that. Two different sites, but similar construction.
But we could probably
Who
maybe,
did you contact for metal building?
It's the same group that is doing the canopy, you know, material cover. It's called ClearSpan. And so they do metal buildings throughout the country. One thing they don't do is any of the, you know, they have garage doors, metal building. They won't do the electrical, they won't do any of the plumbing, you know, so floor drains, they don't do foundation work. So that makes it a little more challenging, and I think that's part of why this is high, is this B-Logic does a lot of metal buildings, but they don't necessarily
Do any,
a lot of
Construction.
that other work.
Right.
So they're hiring in subs and they're marking up and,
but God, you
So
figured
we
there'd be a
might-
general contractor
You
out
might get a
there.
hold of CO Buildings out of Ephraim.
CO.
CO, yeah, they're the best. They fab all their stuff. They engineer it.
Will they do
wind loads,
foundations and everything?
They'll engineer the whole thing, what they need.
Ephraim?
Oh,
Ephraim, yeah.
down where the turkey.
There isn't anybody,
Right, turkeys are
Does
down
the engineering on their portion.
yeah, yeah.
The struggle with, you know, trying to do a specific building, contractor, then we've gotta, you know, do permits for the foundation, find someone to
Right.
do
Sure.
concrete. Then we gotta hire the electrician, get a permit for the electrician.
Well, they'll recommend you contractors that they use.
Yeah, so a little more challenging, a little more time, not anything we
But
can't.
what about some
accomplish.
contractors
there's-
that are local around, you know, I mean, I guess they're just busy,
Well, CO, I was buying stuff from MBCI for 30 years. And I called them up and they've revamped their whole manufacturing facility. They now have delivered any of my building materials, metal building materials, in 2 weeks.
Okay.
They have really improved where MBCI, 4 weeks minimum. Last 2 years ago, it was like 12 weeks out.
take this next one we have.
Okay, we will definitely get a hold of them as well, but that's why we, recommend not awarding that,
Yeah,
and we'll find a way.
okay. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to reject the following project, the Magna Truck Garage project.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, collective bargain agreement. What are we doing on that?
We'd recommend,
Oh, we're gonna approve,
tabling that item.
oh, we are?
Unless you, so that you can just have a once-over on the final.
Wait for the final? Okay,
Contract and the
okay.
closed.
Okay, so we'll,
So are we going to go over it in close and then come back and adopt it?
Yeah, so you
Okay.
guys wanna
Oh,
table.
all right.
That's what I'd recommend anyway.
okay,
And then table the next one until we're ready to, go to the pump station.
oh, till, okay. So, let's see. So we need to approve the next month's board meeting on June 22nd?
That's just a reminder. In fact, I thought it was so important, I reminded you twice on here.
I will note, there's two of us that will be absent for that meeting. I will be on a personal vacation, and Dallas is also going to be gone for that meeting, so we wanted to make.
That's
the
it,
board-
we'll have to make it different date then.
No, I think that date was specific because of the tax noticing.
Yeah, is that the requirement? Okay.
I just wanted to make the board aware of that.
So it's gonna be June 22nd?
At 6 o'clock? No, what is this? Is this?
This is to.
Oh, the next board meeting, okay.
So we can't have it the 8th or the 15th because we don't have that information
Right,
from the county?
right. Wow. If you wanted, I mean, here's an option, if you want Dallas and Clint, we could move the regular board meeting to a different day and then have a special board meeting for the certified tax rate,
That might be better.
or,
That might be better to have a special because then we don't have you guys. I mean, does that, what date fits you guys?
The 8th, the normal second
Yeah.
would work.
How's it do for you, Del?
The 8th, fine.
8th?
Yep.
Okay, what do you think?
Okay,
And then we'll have a special one just to approve the,
so we're gonna do it on the 8th.
On the 8th?
Is that 10 a.m.? Both of them still at 10 a.m.?
Yes.
okay, so Nathan, correct me if I'm wrong, we need a motion to change the regular board meeting in June to June 8th,
Yes.
and then a motion to hold a special one on June 22nd.
for the
We'll
tax.
call a special meeting on the 8th then, right? We can do it then?
Yeah. So the special meeting's gonna be
Okay.
at 10, it's just gonna be specific to that one item.
I'm sorry,
So you're gonna have a special meeting and a regular meeting.
sounds like it.
So you're gonna have 2 meetings.
Right.
So the special meeting is going to be on the 8th.
Right. The regular board meeting.
Regular is gonna be on the 8th, the
The
special is gonna be
special
on the
will be
10th.
whenever the county gets their
Right.
crap together.
Okay.
Who's their boss? We need to call them.
It's how,
Good
it
luck.
works like this every year.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to approve the next month's board meeting on June 8th, 2023.
I'll second that.
Been motion second.
Aye. Who's going to report on the conference?
Who's doing the training?
I am.
Okay.
So we attended the WEAU a couple weeks ago. Let me just pull this up, sorry. And it was a pretty good opportunity for us all to have a chance to network with the other industry experts. Some of the things that we were there going to class about were the collection systems. A lot of companies doing their reuse, learning about how their reuse projects are going. There were some blue stake classes, some PFAS sampling and removal classes, treatment plant classes, and leadership classes. Probably the highlight for all of us was Bowen and Collins did a presentation on our reuse.
Oh, good
And
deal.
it was pretty awesome to be highlighted at the WAU and let other people see some of the great things that Magna Water are doing. And as well as Dallas's collections crew and Scott Beck being highlighted while we were there. Dallas will speak to a little bit about what this meant for the wastewater.
Yeah, wastewater, it was a good opportunity. We met with a gentleman from Sulzer Pumps and we discussed aeration blower technologies, different pumping and blower technologies and different aeration types of equipment. He did an hour class that Bo and I sat through, and then we talked to him offline for probably an additional 20 minutes and just discussed options and got some good contact information. Our Paul Bird sat in on a combination sewer truck maintenance that was put on by Olympus Equipment, and he got just kind of a refresher on some of the manufacturer's recommended maintenance ticket items, and then got some information on some training that's been offered both locally and outside of the state. So we'll keep our eye on that. Some members of the collections system went on a site visit where they observed a contractor lining one of the manholes. We've got a lot of that work going on in the district, and right now we've got just 2 or 3 contractors, so we were able to pick up another contractor there. The city of St. George has recently purchased the equipment to do all that in-house. So, and there's a lot to go into that. I don't think that's a direction we need to go, but certainly it can pay off for others. So Andrew mentioned the reuse system and how that was discussed. I think a special mention should go to Nate Rogers. He did a great job on that, highlighting just all the work that the district's put in the past to get to this point. Nate's not here, and I saw Jason was here, but he just took off. But they did a great job just talking about the history of the project, the benefits of the project, you know, and really highlighting one of the reuse projects in the state that's going to beneficially affect not only our district, but, you know, has some good effect on the Great Salt Lake. And it was a great project, and I think really reflected well on the district.
Okay, thank you. So, okay, go ahead, sorry.
So next on there is the following conferences. If you look in your packet, we have some suggestions on who we feel would benefit from attending these conferences and trainings. There's the Intermountain Section AWWA coming up in September, the 19th through the 21st in St. George. None of these conferences have listed their prices as of this year, but based off of looking at what they have charged over the last couple of years, we have a pretty good guess. You can see the registration cost for that is $395, and currently the hotel pricing's about, 189 to 200 a night.
So I have a question on these conferences. How many conferences do we go to a year? Because, I think we need to really look at some of these conferences and say, because they get expensive. I mean, even though we belong to these deals, but it really costs us, the taxpayers, a lot of money here. And we need to kind of look at it and say, you know what, we maybe need to do 3 or 5 a year. I know one of the places I sit on a board, they only have a limited. You don't just go to whatever you want. You sit down and say, these are the ones I recommend, and then you pick out 4 or 5 of them. The most important ones and go, but to just turn around every time there's a conference, you could be going constantly.
Well, we're doing the same thing. The important thing I think to keep in mind is their conferences, obviously are limited to water.
Right.
We have the addition of
Sewer.
wastewater.
Yep.
We have financial people that are going to, conferences that are specific to the financial system we operate.
So I have a question. When you look at these financial one, all the ladies are gone. Who runs the office?
Holy hell, that's what I was thinking
Last year,
too.
last year
She can
we,
explain a little bit how that worked.
last year we rotated.
There were 2 people
so
here
that there was
all the
2
time.
people in the office at all.
She did a great job. She actually only registered a certain number, and then we all utilized
Like one
portions.
registration covered like 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
Because we alternated.
No, I just want us, I don't have a problem with us going and get our certifications and the things we need to, but we need to kind of look at it too, cost wise.
Absolutely. I think that we are doing that to the best of our ability to try to balance what are we getting, who needs certifications, CEUs or professional development hours, balanced out with, just a lot of different needs. And it's one of the hardest things, I think that I totally understand where the board's coming from. It's one of those things that if you're not going to the conferences and getting what you're getting out of them, it's hard to understand what you could be getting. But there's so much value for the people that go, that really take advantage of it. It's hard to understand unless you go. That's
One more thing that I might say, Mr. Chairman, is, as we look at attendance and who can go, we also have to look at our manpower. So
Right.
Raymond and I, we both have operators that have certain needs. So kind of what we've been doing is the supervisors, we've been trying to let them go to local ones to satisfy their CEUs. And then maybe the St. George ones, we've been trying to let each lead man go to 1 per year. And then as far as our operators for CEUs, it's almost there in every other year to one of the St. George conferences if we can't get all their CEUs locally. So, not oftentimes will you see a low-level operator at the WEFTEX or the Toronto AWWA. A lot of that stuff can be satisfied locally, but there is some benefit to the St. George ones for sure.
Yep, exactly.
I just wonder, Leal, what do they cost us to come out here and do it?
Cassell, it would be a lot more than, I honestly don't know. I'd have to figure that out, but it would be a lot
But
more
you still
than
have to
that.
have somebody answer the phone and all that, so what you're doing is probably okay. Is that why it's a 2-day thing, because you're offsetting?
No, it's a 2-day thing because that's what Cassell configures it to be.
I can tell you, I attended that conference for a portion of the classes, and I found it really beneficial for my.
Well, no, and I'm totally for all this.
So I can see how it could be even more beneficial for
Right.
people using it day to day.
I tell you what, we hadn't attended this conference for 6 years.
And our biggest asset is our employees that need to have their certifications and all this, and I'm totally for this. I just, like I said, we just need, because this stuff gets, I know we put in a cost for training, I get that, I understand that. But just because we have that cost doesn't mean we have to use every dime of it.
If there's a way we can put it together differently, we certainly could do that. If you would like, we've had times where all of them were listed at the start of the year. And I think from my takeaway is the board didn't like
See, and
that approach.
I like, just bring them up and then we can
Right.
decide if it's something that we really need. I mean, and you guys know what we need to go to and what we don't need to go to, but all I'm saying is stuff gets costly and
And it
I,
doesn't, and it's like they said, not everybody is going to each one.
No.
There's some that some people will hit, and there's others that other people will hit, that we're not sending the same 6, 7 people to
okay, well,
every.
I just want to make sure we share it and get our people that need to go.
Okay.
One clarification, the Intermountain Section Conference is gonna be up at the Davis Center
Yes.
this year instead of down in St. George.
Right.
Oh, it is.
Is that in,
That's close.
when's, Marie, when is that? Is that in?
So-
It's the same dates. It's
Okay.
just at the
So
Davis
we
Center,
won't,
yeah.
we won't need hotel charge. That's a big savings right there.
See, that's what I said. Sometimes I think we need to research some of this stuff out to find out if there's other places that do
On
this.
their website, it was saying St. George.
Yeah, that was the original plan, and the conference center, bumped them for somebody else, and so they scrambled and made a reservation.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I promise it's not in St. George.
Well, I believe you.
Almost certain it's going to be at the Davis.
Okay.
I haven't seen, no, they're
Thank
having
you.
their lane.
It's right here.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, that'll save quite a bit, because we won't stay.
Where's it gonna be? In Cindy?
Probably over to that,
That is one thing I will also say.
American
Oh,
South,
okay.
yeah, 94 or 90, yeah.
That is one thing I will also say to the board. We have been cognizant of if it's within a fairly close distance, our policy is we don't stay overnight. So a lot of the other, districts or cities that go to the Zermatt Resort in Midway stay overnight.
I know.
These ones at the conference centers in Davis, or down in Provo, they stay overnight. We try to balance that and we don't.
Yeah, I know, because the board that I sit on, they stay overnight. It's like, why?
So we're trying to make the most financial, wise decisions
I go on
we
the
can.
train house town.
So that AWWA conference would go from total of 4,900 down to the 1975.
I don't wanna get the money to stay somewhere else.
If it was there, where's it gonna be?
Yeah, it's
In
gonna be-
Davidson.
If it's at the Davis County, was it?
Okay,
The reservation has been made, they've got a contract with them.
Thanks, Marie, for that.
so we'll just approve all three.
Yeah, let's approve all three.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make approval for the Intermountain Section AWWA, September 19th to 21st, 2023 at St. George, the APWA Conference, September in Sandy, or is it Davis Center?
It's gonna be Davis Center.
AWWA is the
Davis.
Davis Center, not
Davis
St. George.
Center.
And the Cassell Conference, October 10th to 11th, 2023 in Salt Lake City.
I'll second that.
Been motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, so, what are we going to do? Are we going to go up for lunch at noon? Or do we have a lot enclosed today?
We have a handful of items.
Okay,
So it's the board's preference. Dawn, will ask,
we'll ask you, Don, what do you wanna do? You wanna do 12 or 12:30?
You can do either one.
We had,
We have
let's
a-
just interject real quick. We had staff, told staff, we're doing it in 2 different groups. The first one starting at noon, and then another one at 12:30. So it'll be going for an hour plus.
Can we do our thing at 45?
Do it.
Can we do this really? I mean,
try, well, let's go as much through as we can.
Okay.
okay, and so let's plan. I invited the mayor to come up and join us today. So let's go till 12:30, and then where we stop, we will, just have to come back and finish it. Is that okay?
Good with me.
Okay, do you want to make a motion to close the open?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to meet immediately in closed session, to discuss character, professional competence, physical and mental health of an individual, collective bargaining discussed pursuant to Utah Code 52-4-204 through 205.
I'll second that.
Been motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Marie, do you want to stay for a hot dog? Okay, does someone want to, close the close and open the open?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to
Okay.
close the close and reopen the public board meeting,
At 12:28.
12:28.
I'll second that.
Been motion second.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, other options we talked about in closed is to
There's
approve,
an item on there.
oh, is there?
We tabled it.
Where?
So you tabled it up above.
While you
but-
were out, we tabled it.
But you could approve it under N because so the point of the discussion is the union contract.
Okay,
We discussed
okay.
it earlier. We tabled it so you could
Right.
discuss it in closed. Now
Okay.
you're ready to act on it. So
Okay,
I think it would fall under N.
So we're gonna do it according to Jay, we're gonna say approval of the ratification of collection borrowing agreement as,
Yes, but I think just for the record, I think it would be helpful just to have a brief synopsis of what you're approving so the public knows what it is.
okay.
So Andrew, would you be able just to give a quick overview of it?
Okay, the union has ratified the CBA for 2023, June 1st through May 31st, 2027. We bring it to the board with recommendation that we accept it.
Do you think any additional
I,
discussion is necessary? I mean, once it's approved, it'll be made available on Grandma. Right.
Yeah, it'll become a public record. But basically, the contract was set to expire, we've renewed it, we've reached favorable terms to both sides.
Yep.
They've ratified it, now it's coming before you. You can approve it, it'll go into effect June 1st, the start of next month. So we have the document to sign.
So will it go June 1st or does it go January 1st? Because remember we talked about
June 1st.
June 1st, okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
The only thing that was January 1st that he was talking
is the
about
2.5.
financials.
Yeah, okay. So do you want to approve this contract?
I do, yes.
Okay, just say, I motion that we approve.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, we approve the union contract
From June 23rd to May of 27.
for June 2023 to May 30th, 2027.
Okay, all in favor?
Wait, we have to have a second, since
Well,
Jeff's not here. you
okay,
can
I'll second. I second it. Been motion and second, all in?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so now, we,
We have to sign it. No.
well, that's all we took in closed doors. So any other business we have?
Just the one item to meet for,
Okay, so will meet for lunch at 12:35 up to and toward the secondary water pump station on 41 south and 8400 west.
So then I make a motion to adjourn.
Yes,
I make a motion that we adjourn.
I second it. Been motion and second, all in?
Aye.
Aye.
and if anybody would like a vehicle, a ride, I've got.
I'll just drive up.